What's up, guys? Before we talk about what makes these new methods so great, let's talk about why the original method is so hard. Bonk dashing is performing a double jump bonk no impact land, and this is done by manipulating Marth's environmental collision box, or ECB, which is a diamond that's attached to Marth's body and is used for detecting collision with floors, walls, and ceilings. Now, Marth's ECB moves around depending on his current animation, and if Marth bonks his head underneath the stage on either frame 1 or 2 of his double jump, the bottom of its ECB gets raised much higher than usual. And if he grabs the edge with this ECB active, it gets frozen in place temporarily. And if he's almost frame perfect, he can release the ledge and double jump back to the stage. We have 1 frame that we can burn in that process. And when he's floating just above the stage, his ECB will unfreeze and snap downward again. And since it's used to detect collision with the stage, it then causes him to instantly land on the stage. And if you were near the apex of your jump, or at least you don't have a significant amount of downward momentum, then you will execute a no impact land, and you will have 0 frames of landing lag and be actionable on the very next frame. The result of this is that Marth recovers and is actionable while still having 18 frames of intangibility left from grabbing the ledge, and this is called Galint, or grounded actionable ledge intangibility. So what makes the original bonk dashing method so hard? Well, first we need to let go of the ledge, and we can do so either by pressing C-stick away or by holding down diagonal forward. If we use C-stick away to let go of the ledge, we need to hold forward on the next frame or we won't get deep enough under the stage to bonk our heads. If we hold down diagonal forward, we need to make sure that we don't accidentally fast fall. So let's just assume that we let go of the ledge with C-stick away. If we do so, we'll then need to time our side B for frame 8 or 9 of our falling animation, which means that we have a 2-frame window for timing the side B. Then we need to jump out of the side B frame perfectly. If we fall for 1 extra frame, we can't get the ECB we need when we bonk our heads. We'll be frame 3 of the double jump upon bonking our head, which will not lock in the ECB that we need. So we have to time it frame perfect. Well, technically, we can buffer our analog stick tap jump for 4 frames. So that's a 4-frame window. And really, we can also press X and Y to make it a 6-frame window, but that's if you perfectly timed it 4 frames after using your tap jump, which is not necessarily likely. So at best, it's a 6-frame window. At worst, it's a 4-frame window, but you're overcomplicating the input, making it harder for yourself anyways. So let's just go with consistent, reliable. We time our 4-frame tap jump. That concludes phase 1 of doing a bonk dash, which is letting go of the ledge, doing side B, jumping out of it, bonking your head, and grabbing the ledge again, with the ECB that you need locked in and frozen. Phase 2 is let go of the ledge, double jump back to stage, and your ECB snaps down, you get the no impact land. That's phase 2. Phase 2, you have 1 frame that you can burn between the frame perfect ledge release and the frame perfect jump afterwards. So you got 1 frame to play with. I would say use that frame for letting go of the ledge and not for the jump part, because that means that you're less likely to get tournament winner, which is a really bad thing. You're going to get punished pretty hard for that. So it's better to put it there and then just do a frame perfect jump after you let go. And it's easier to try to time one thing after the other than timing the letting go part frame perfectly. So all in all, if we're letting go with C-stick, we have a 1 frame window, followed by a 2 frame window, followed by a 4 frame window, followed by a 2 frame window, followed by a 1 frame window. A 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. And that's just too difficult.
Bruh.
So what about the other methods? Well, the other methods allow Marth to get battlefielded, which is where he goes past the ledge without grabbing it. And that makes things easier because we actually start our side B way earlier. And so our side B window is actually a 5 frame window for the side B. If we do it too early, we just re-grab the ledge. No harm, no foul. And if we need to, we can do a hack stash to refresh our side B if we wanted to try another one. Now, after our 5 frame window for the side B, depending on the frame that we choose, most of those frames, except for the last one, will be either a 3 frame window or a 4 frame window to time the jump, without even factoring in the analog stick, because we start our side B earlier now, so there's no risk of it eating the jump and the jump just not coming out and you falling an additional frame. That's not going to happen, because we're so deep into our side B that by the time we choose to jump, we can jump whenever, and it's just going to jump. The only question is whether or not we've waited until we're deep enough under the stage when we jump that we bonk our heads, and that we didn't wait too late to where we have fallen too far, and when we jump, it's going to bonk our heads on frame 3 or later of our double jump, which won't lock in the ECB that we need. After that, we have the exact same part for phase 2. 2 frame window to let go of ledge, 1 frame to time the jump. So that part won't change, but the idea is that if you actually practice doing the original method over and over and over again, and look at how many times you've grabbed the ledge that you actually had the ECB locked in, it's actually quite rare. Whereas with these methods, the initial part to set up freezing your ECB is very consistent and reliable. Then it's just, okay, can I actually execute phase 2 near frame perfectly so that I can actually get the no impact land after my bonk. In this part, let's go over the specific methods for performing bonk dashes, as well as any of the important details that we should know. Our first method for bonk dashing is the most reliable method available. It is executed by doing either a forward or backward roll against the ledge, and then performing the tightest possible dash dance. This dash dance acts almost like a pivot, in that when you slip off the ledge, it cancels all outward momentum, allowing you to immediately DI hard inward towards the stage. After timing your side B, this will allow you to become battlefielded, slip underneath the ledge, bonk your head, and be able to perform the dash. This method provides an extremely simple and reliable execution of phase 1. This method requires performing a short hop off stage and then DIing hard in towards the ledge. That way, once you get close enough, you can execute your side B and get battlefielded, slip underneath the stage, bonk your head, and perform the dash. This is one of the easiest and most reliable techniques that you can perform. With as little as 30 minutes practice, I've managed to hit 2 bonk dashes in a row. I've also managed to hit one first try, and then got another one 3 tries later, and then another one 4 tries after that. Because it's so reliable, this is definitely a great way to perform bonk dashes. However, it does require being significantly on stage, as well as being above the stage for longer than any of the other techniques. Because of that, in certain scenarios this may be a great method, and in others it may require using something else. Our next method uses a short hop back air in order to approach the ledge. Typically the hitboxes for this back air are not going to be useful, and if they cross up in an opponent, you typically wouldn't want to put out a side B afterwards, as it's kind of laggy and leaves you vulnerable. However, it is an option and I decided to include it in this video. This next technique is different from the ones that came before it because it starts on the ledge. A get-up attack is used to get back on stage into a very precise position. From here, a very precise dash back is executed with a pivot such that you slide off the edge while still facing outward. This pivot cancels all your outward momentum, allowing you to drift back inwards very quickly in order to execute your side B, get battlefielded, and perform the bonk tech. Because the get-up attack places the player close to the ledge, there aren't that many different timings that you can dash toward it and then pivot. And therefore, even though it is a frame perfect timing, it's still relatively consistent, especially compared to other methods that place the player further away from the ledge. Our next method is regular get up from the ledge. Unlike get up attack from the ledge, regular get up places the player slightly farther away from the ledge. And what this means is that there are more variations possible in timings, and that reduces the consistency with which the player is able to hit the dash back pivot. However, it does place the player a set distance away from the ledge, which makes it still more consistent than some of the other methods that we'll talk about next. However, the player, when getting up from the ledge, still has residual momentum left over, and it is necessary that he skipped the first 2 frames of actionability before dashing back, or else you will not be able to hit the pivot that allows you to slide off while still facing outwards. In this method, we see that a nil is performed by the player and then the dash back pivot slide off. Whereas in the next method, we see that a fair into nil is performed. The next 2 methods both suffer from reduced reliability. This is because both methods place the player a variable distance away from the ledge and require a dash back into a pivot slide off where you're facing outwards. However, this is not possible at all spacings, and because of that, it cannot be reliably performed 100% of the time. However, execution of both of these methods is still more reliable than the traditional method of performing bonk dashes. Once again, keep in mind that when landing on the stage from a nil, you do not get your side B back, and so if you've already spent it, you need to land on the stage normally or through a hack dash in order to refresh your side B before performing this technique. Alright guys, that's about all I got. Hopefully this video was informative. Hopefully you learned a lot of new methods and ways to reliably perform bonk dashes. Hopefully you're excited, get on the grind, start learning something new. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, man. Peace.